I became a member of parliament, and in the end I decided to write an anti-Islam book, which started as an anti-Islam book, changed into this search for God, and it ended up me becoming a Muslim.
Dialah Joram van Klaveren Viertsik, seorang mantan politisi Belanda sayap kanan. Dulu dia adalah anggota dari partai PPV Geert Wilders. Partai ini dikenal sebagai partai yang anti-Islam. Joram van Klaveren juga seorang mantan anggota parlemen Belanda dan pernah menjadi tangan kanan seorang politisi anti-Islam, Geert Wilders. Masa lalu Joram van Klaveren sangat anti dengan Islam. Pernah suatu ketika dia mengatakan kalau Islam adalah kebohongan dan kitab suci umat Islam Al-Quran adalah racun. Selama menjadi anggota parlemen dari Partai Wilders, Joram van Klaveren terus-menerus melakukan kampanye untuk memusuhi Islam. Di antara kampanye anti-Islam yang didengungkan Joram van Klaveren dan kelompok sayap kanan adalah menolak menara masjid dan burqa. Mereka tidak menginginkan Islam ada di Belanda. Namun sebelum lanjut, jangan lupa untuk memberikan dukungan sederhana dengan menekan tombol subscribe dan like video ini. Dengan begitu, kita sama-sama berbagi kebaikan untuk lebih banyak orang.
I became a member of parliament, and in the end I decided to write an anti-Islam book, which started as an anti-Islam book, changed into this search for God, and it ended up me becoming a Muslim. But because the Trinity is a very complex concept, whether you believe it or not, it's still very complex. Because if there is a God in the Bible, it says God is eternal. But if you are eternal and in the same you die, you cannot be eternal, immortal at the same time. So that was something when I was a little older, 16, 17, I started questioning things like that. It's not very logical. I talked to many priests, preachers, even rabbis, and the answers I got weren't very satisfying.
Citra Islam di matanya kala itu sangat buruk, terutama setelah kejadian pembunuhan tragis sutradara Theo van Gogh oleh seorang Muslim. Sampai akhirnya membangkitkan perasaan anti-Islam Joram. Dari sanalah Joram berpikir untuk menjadi politikus untuk memberhentikan kejahatan yang merugikan negaranya. Berangkat dari keresahan itu, Joram akhirnya mulai terjun ke dunia politik. Alasan kuatnya, ia ingin menjelaskan ke banyak orang mengapa Islam itu berbahaya untuk dunia.
I went to a university and I did comparative religion, and the remarkable thing I think was that the first day of me going to college was September 11, 2001. Already thought, okay, these Muslim guys are kind of crazy and this religion isn't the truth. Then a few years later was this guy in the Netherlands called Theo van Gogh. Theo van Gogh. He was a famous filmmaker and he was killed in the street. It strengthened my anti-Islam feelings in such a way that I thought, well, I have to become politically active to do something and stop this evil of harming our country. Yeah, and that really had to do with Islam. That was the reason that I wanted to write a book, to explain to people why Islam was a danger for the world.
Namun, ketika ia mulai menulis bukunya, keraguan itu muncul lagi. Dengan membahas perbandingan antara konsep Kristen dan konsep Islam tentang Tuhan. Ia melihat konsep Tuhan dalam Islam lebih logis daripada Trinitas Kristen. Upaya melemahkan Islam ini malah redup, dan justru membawanya untuk terus mendalami ajaran Islam. Pada akhirnya, ia mengakui keesaan Tuhan Islam adalah yang paling benar. Tidak hanya itu, Joram juga mempelajari kisah Nabi Muhammad SAW, mulai dari sejarah dan perilakunya terhadap sesama manusia. Lagi dan lagi membuat Joram takjub dan mengaku bahwa Muhammad adalah seorang nabi.
When I was writing my book, like I said earlier, the questions, the doubts I had about Christianity popped up again. And that was about truth, of course, because I was a believing Christian guy. And yeah, the Christian questions I had in the end were answered in an Islamic way. Because, of course, when I started writing the book, a lot of people think that it was a political book. But it wasn't so much a political book, it was a religious book, because I wanted to show people why Islam was a danger as a religion. And I wrote it from a Christian perspective. So in the beginning, I made a comparison between the Christian concept of God and the Islamic concept. So I start comparing it. But because I had these doubts about the Trinity and I saw Tawheed, the oneness of God in Islam, I thought, yeah, it sounds a little bit more logical. So after weeks and weeks of study, reading, rereading all kinds of books, I thought to myself, okay, perhaps this oneness of God is something that is true. So that's how it started. I was writing an anti-Islam book with an anti-Islam purpose, and I'm asking this Muslim professor from another country, can you help me? So I told him I'm writing a book. I have a lot of questions. So I was very plain why I thought, why is Islam promoting terrorism? Why is anti-woman? Why is anti-Christian? Anti-whatever. After, I think, 6 weeks, he sent me a very extensive email, and he started explaining, directly answered a lot of my questions, but he also told me, you have to read this article, read this book, read that book, ask this person. And so he was very extensive in his way of explaining. But in the end, after I read all these books and articles and made a comparison between prophets from the Old Testament with Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, I had no arguments anymore to say they are prophets and he is not. And I thought to myself, well, if I accept Moses on these grounds and I cannot accept the prophet, then there is something else. So I thought, why don't I think he is a prophet? And I thought, oh, perhaps because he had many wives. But then again, when you look at Solomon or you look at King David, Abraham, there are a lot of people in the Old Testament that had more wives. And when you look at...
Meskipun ia telah mencari-cari kelemahan Nabi Muhammad untuk dijadikan sebagai bahan mengkritik Islam, ia tidak menemukannya. Ia terus membaca tentang sejarah Nabi dan menemukan bahwa ternyata Nabi tidak hanya berperan sebagai panglima perang, namun juga sebagai ayah, suami, dan sahabat yang baik. Ia menyadari bahwa akhlak Nabi begitu mulia, sehingga ia pun akhirnya berhenti, melipat bukunya, dan menaruhnya di atas rak paling tinggi. Ketika itu, tiba-tiba beberapa buku terjatuh dari rak, salah satunya adalah Al-Quran. Dia pun membuka Al-Quran tersebut dan membacanya, lalu merenungkan isinya. Ketika itulah hatinya mulai terbuka untuk Islam, sehingga akhirnya ia pun mantap memilih Islam.
Because I read a book from Martin Links, The Life of the Prophet, based on the earliest source of Muhammad. And it was written, of course, by a convert. And his way of reasoning, his way of telling, his way of writing appealed to me because it's culturally the same thing. How do I approach a certain topic, etc. And it was the first time that I saw him not so much as a warlord, because that's the picture I had in my mind, but I saw him as a father, and I saw him as a friend and a teacher, and so much more. And so, yeah, I saw the person and his character, and I said, well, I can say a lot, but I cannot say that this is not a good man. So his character persuaded me to read more and to want to know more. He was a really special guy. And when I thought that, I thought, well, I have these arguments for him being a prophet. I see his character. I see the way he treated other people. I see how he treated his enemies. I think he is a prophet. But then I thought to myself, whoa, that's horrible. Because I already accepted this oneness of God. And now I say he is a prophet. If I say there is only one God and Muhammad is his prophet, that's almost shahada. So I thought to myself, okay, let's close the books. Stop. This is going in the wrong direction. And of course, I wasn't that anti-Islam anymore because of what I read, what I saw, and what I experienced. What I tell you now, it sounds a little like a fairy tale, but it really happened. In the end, there were all these books at the table, and when I had this feeling of, yeah, okay, this is shahada in a way, I thought, well, I put all the books away, and I put the books on the highest shelf, but there were so many books that a lot of books fell off the shelf. And one of the books that fell off the shelf was the Quran. And when I picked it up, my hand was on a page with Surah 22, Ayat 46. And it says, it's not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts. And I thought to myself, that really is my problem, because it wasn't the eyes. I really could see what I written down myself. Nobody forced me to write this book. Nobody said you have to write this or that. I started writing myself, and I could see it with my own eyes, but I still couldn't accept the fact that I said he is a prophet, there is this one God. I just couldn't. So it wasn't my eyes that were blind, but it was really my heart. I couldn't accept it. I think my nafs or whatever, my ego, I couldn't accept it. And I said, well, God, I don't care if it's the God from the Bible or the Quran, give me a sign or something so that I 100% sure know this is the way. And I went to bed, but when I woke up, I felt very secure in myself. I really felt very secure. I've never been more secure about anything else. The whole anxiety or the whole doubting issue, it disappeared like snow for the sun. And I thought to myself, well, I think I'm a Muslim. Well, and then of course I had to tell other people.